Welcome everybody to the February 8th Ortelius architecture meeting. Let me go ahead and share my screen
Jane,
and
you'll want to add yourself to the minutes.
yeah, I just copied them from last week, so there'll
Right.
be a few that
And
need it.
Kate should be with us today. She was planning to.
Yeah.
Like I say, Jane, you're going to want to add yourself to those.
Oh, okay. So this the doc was shared. We can all have access to it.
Yeah, you do.
You should,
Mm.
if you're part of the Ortelius Google group, you should have access automatically.
And if you're not, I can just add you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got
S-
one Hotmail, one Gmail. I don't know which one I have access. Sorry,
Right.
guys.
No matter about
No
that. It
problem.
just is your email address in the
Uh,
group.
Yeah, you could just go in and then
Here,
over.
I'll just put you in, Jane.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tony.
So last week, we just catch everybody up. We went over some of the. So I'll go back a couple weeks. Back on the 25th, at the end of January, we went through and figured out some personas, some high-level personas, what they are trying to do with Ortelius and the data that we have. And then last week, we took another slice at those personas and kind of reorganized them so we can kind of slot them into what they need from a UI UX perspective. So we have like in the weeds details, they need a summary, with drill down, trends, risk and cost, ability to export. So those were some of the things that we kind of went through and figured out um, what was happening with how they're going to navigate the data. Um, Let me just double check something here. Okay, cool. So today, what I'd like to do is look for some websites for some ideas. So Tracy found this one the other day, and I want to see if some of these ideas, these websites that we can kind of model after, are able to give us um, the basic categories that we kind of slotted into. So I'm going to jump over to Co-Monitor, and this one checked off a lot of boxes for something to model after. So if we look at, let me split screens here, make it a little bit easier. All right, get reorganized here. So, like some of the things that we were talking about needs a summary with a drill down. Um, and this site here um, definitely provides that, where you have the score, which is an average of all these different um categories. So they averaged the categories together and gave you the score. And then they did, for each category, how well you're achieving it at that level. So for this type of data, it's 9 out of 10. It's a ranking system. I think we have the data, at least some of the data, to be able to present it like this. So does everybody think that this type of layout with the boxes and the high level scoring kind of satisfies our need summary and need summary with the drill down? Let me show you the drill down real quick. So if you click on it, you can get into the gory details.
Uh, it certainly looks good. Can you bring up either you or Kate the mock-up that she provided?
Let me see if I have that one.
Hey, Steve, I like it a lot.
So, Kate, do you have your mock-up handy? I have it. I just had to dig through my emails to get it.
I don't have it handy. Let me dig.
No worries.
Oh,
What we could do is we should get your mock-up as a Google Doc so we can then reference it here in the meeting minutes.
right.
So I'm gonna add that to your to-do list at some point. No hurry on it. So I think the summary level and the drill down works well with this type of layout as part of that process.
So how we are thinking to show the drill down, like
You
user will
would
be clicking.
Yeah, you click like on CD events, and then you get the summary again is at the top, and then you get the individual details.
Hmm. And
Uh,
then somewhere there has to be an ability to export this.
Yeah, and I think they're doing their export
Yep.
um, in two ways as a badge, which I thought was a pretty clever idea. We can do badging
Like that.
through Ortelius, and then I did not check what the embed to report summary does. Let's see.
I
Oh,
do like those badges.
yeah, it looks like it's going to create some sort of markdown.
Hmm.
It looks like it's just catching a snapshot of that object and
Right.
allowing to export it. I think the export in my mind, which should be probably a an Excel spreadsheet, CVS or a PDF to export the data.
Yeah, the easiest thing is just spit it out in a CSV and
Yeah,
let people do whatever they want with it.
right. So I would say this one does summary with drill down. And let's see what else was on our criteria. And I think it's going to give us the into weeds as well. Let's double check that. Okay, so that's going to, oh, this is how, so they do a page jump based on what you click here. And they have one thing I didn't see is any more drill downs. Well, they have one here. Let's see what that does. It takes us over. So they have ways to link to the external data.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna give that one a in the weeds scoring as well. The thing I didn't see that we may have to find another um, site to model after is the trends and anything to do with the risk or cost. But I think risk and cost may be able to be fit into one of these, another category of data. Just like CVE scores or any of our scoring could, the risk score or the cost, I think we could fit into the summary as part of the data. I don't know if that would be too confusing for an executive that's going to see all the details about other things like legal, for example, and then they see their risk score and their cost. Um, or do you think that these folks that are looking for this C-level type of data should have a different way to navigate to that data? Does that make sense?
Yeah. So my take is that people at sea level are probably going to have a report somebody generates for them, and then they'll fiddle with it till it suits their needs, and
Yeah.
needs will change by the phase of the moon or something.
Yeah.
When we talk about cost, though, are we going to try and figure out cost, or is that really something we should leave to the organization?
I think I the idea that I had behind cost was they could input the cost for a man day, for example, and then they could so we could work from a cost of a developer to fix something, and then we know that the estimated time to fix it is going to be 3 days. So the cost would be $10,000 to fix it, uh, type of scenario. I don't think that this cost one is something that we'll be able to do right out of the box. I think we're going to have to play with that. Um,
So Steve, the person who joined, Lori and I were working on like the Alineian stuff, and we reached out to Tracy, who also put some things in. So I'm wondering, um, maybe we can take that up as a side, because there was some really good information, and we had some questions actually, and I was gonna try to get a meeting with Tracy for like 15 minutes to review real quick.
yeah, yeah, let's definitely do that.
Okay, but maybe we can do it as a group, and I can show you what we're talking about.
Yeah, this area, these two are kind of fuzzy for me.
It
I,
is
you know,
overall, yeah.
and I understand the concepts. I just don't know how to drive the data to get there.
And they're like soft costs, right?
Yeah,
And the sheets that are being reused have some calculations in them on how to get those soft costs.
perfect.
Yeah, so
Cool. So, um, yeah, Tony, I think for these, um, the cost and the risk, I think we should display them for, like a DevOps manager wants to look at the risk with a certain project or whatever, that they're able to navigate that data. But I think for, like you said, for the execs, that we're going to have to export it in some sort of fashion that they can then start working with it. The other thing I did not see is anything with trending. So just to refresh everybody's on the new version of Ortelius, it is going to be backed by the XRPL ledger, which is a blockchain. So every time there's a change made to any of the data that we're gathering, that ends up being a new block in the chain. So we have this immutable history. And along with that, because it's not only immutable, but there's a timestamp with it, we can see trends. We have the ability to do like a history trend for our data as part of our reports, or however we want to look at it at that level. And I haven't really tried to hunt down like a time series layout, or there's been some where let me go back go into this. Well, let's say this is the time going across the bottom here, and I've seen some of them where you put your begin a marker and you put your end marker, then you can do a comparison, or if you do you do your beginning marker, your ending marker, that you get the diff below you. So there's different ways to do it, and I was wondering if anybody would like to take that task on to see if they can find a website that we can model after for looking at trends. Also, there's graph trends, so you have your time series, you have the number of CVEs that are getting fixed if you're going up or down, those type of things. So The data is going to be something that's going to be on your y-axis, and then time will more than likely be on your x-axis. Looking for volunteers on that.
Yes, you. That is, I think, that is pretty doable.
Okay. So I'm gonna put you down here for.
Also, can you click on that dev stat? What does that icon tell us?
Where was it?
The I think the plot icon that you have.
Dev stat. Oh, that's the link over to
Okay.
our CD Foundation dev stats. And this will take. So this is grabbing all of the data off of our repos.
Yeah.
And this is kind of a historical.
Yeah.
But it doesn't allow you to. It literally is just a bar graph. It doesn't let you navigate anywhere. Let's see, contributions charts. So
Yep.
the way DevStats is this, I think this is based on BigQuery, that they go out and generate the different charts, and you can then export them if you want, I believe. And the way they're doing it, the way they're doing it, if we go back to the list, you have all the different charting and trends end up being a different page and a different graph. Let's see if this one comes. I guess I've been busy.
So Steve,
yeah.
Yeah, so what you're talking about is a time picker. So we don't have time picker here, but we do see on the top, we can select the time and also interval.
Yeah, and I don't know, when I think of trends, there are two things I want to use trends for. To see, visually if I'm going up or down, basically, good or bad. And then the other way a time series can be used is for comparison. So I want to compare what the state was back in beginning of February today, and what's changed, and what are the differences between those two dates. So that's the two things I've seen time series is used for. One, that the marching through time, how things are changing up or down. The other one is for doing comparisons.
Okay.
And there's a let me look at. So there's some graphing libraries out there I've used in the past. That you can, like, let's say we want to do a bar chart. Where's bar? So we can get fancy with all the charts and stuff like that. And then you can get, even like a stack bar chart. Let's see what time series is. That's basically a line graph, the way in my mind. But there should be some way that we can make the data accessible for these folks that we're looking at for trends. some of the trends that we labeled from last week with, am I meeting my goals? How's the health of the application? Are we getting fewer CVEs, fewer number of attacks? And from the executive point of view, are my costs going down or up? Those are the ones. This is just a short list of the, we have a lot of data, so we just highlighted some of them here. I mean, you can say you can ask the question, how many open source packages that I'm consuming are generating an SBOM? And then how many of those are signing their SBOM? How many have attestations? When were they attested to? So we have a lot of data. We just got to figure out an overall feel for how to plug it into the UI. Does that help clarify the goal we're trying to get to, Utkarsh?
Yes, yes.
So I'm gonna add you here to do some poking around. Trends. I mean, there's other ones, like when you think of the comparison, what is it, the Apple backup program, or I can't remember what it's called, time something, that has that same concept of marching through time. So, and this has the light and dark mode, like we will have as part of that. So just to get some thoughts how people feel about this general layout that we've found so far. Is it a thumbs up, thumbs down?
Yeah, no, I like it a lot personally.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, quite clear, the particular from executive point of view, so you can see it straight
Yeah,
away.
same.
Okay, cool. And then on the filter side, the one thing, this is representing basically a Jenkins organization. Each one of these boxes. I think we may need to do tabs or something, or just do it on the filter side. So some of the ways we can view our data is you can view it at an application level. So I want to see basically all the summary data for an application. I want to see all of the summary information for an environment. So what's prod looking like versus QA, and then based on an organization. So like the organization would be, how's a CDF doing versus a CNCF or the LFAI groups. So those are kind of like our three slices I can see right now of how to, the objects that we'd want to kind of have at the high level summary. We may need to add in something around cost or risk, but usually those, I think the cost and risk would be constrained to one of those viewpoints. And I think that those three viewpoints will cover most of the way we had our personas looking at the information. So a developer would be looking at it from an application point of view. An SRE production control would be looking at an environment production control. The SecOps guys would be doing probably both, looking at it from the developer's point of view and from an environment point of view. And then corporate risk and execs would be looking at it from an organizational point of view. And the SecOps may be doing, the SecOps definitely looking at it from an organizational point of view. The DevSecOps would be down at the project level.
So Steve, sorry because I haven't joined this meeting later. I had just asked
No
a dumb
problem.
question about corporate risk. Are you allowed, because different industry, a lot of risk are very different. So are you allowed people able to export some of the stuff uh in here?
Yeah, and that's what we were talking about. What Tony mentioned is folks like the corporate risk and the executives will probably want to export our data as a spreadsheet and then use that data to down the road to determine their corporate risk.
Okay, yep. Sounds good.
Now,
Because from my experience here, there are a lot of risk systems already well established in lots of organizations. So sometimes they want to have everything consolidated. So if it's good, it will be good if you can allow, import exports from this system uh, into whatever system, some of the organization required. So that would be very useful.
yeah.
That's
Now,
a
the
good
one thought,
idea.
one idea we had at one, or I had at one point. Let's go to. I'm trying to find something. Okay, let's say um, uh, one possibility is we could allow each user to rank or assign a risk and a cost or a cost to a particular object, for example. So under license, we can associate the Apache 2 license as a low risk, where you have the GNU license as a high risk, for example. So I could assign, and maybe another company would say, "Oh, GNU's fine. I'm going to give them a medium risk." So there was a concept that I've been thinking about of allowing self-assignment of that risk and cost data that we can then use to populate the summary, do calculations, roll it up to a summary level. I don't know how much work that's going to be. It's just something that's been spinning in circles.
I like the idea. Yeah. So that because each organization views things differently, right? And also different time, some of those risks, the weight are different as well.
Yeah,
So if you allow them able to shuffle around, then that's great. Yeah.
yeah, and I think, like you said, that we would need to allow for an import, so they can go through and assign risk in a spreadsheet, and then we import the spreadsheet, and then we do all the calculations from there. Maybe the way we need to go. We'll have to
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
That one's up in the air in my mind.
Sure. But yeah, because different industry, as more things are covered, they might have more risk added in as well, right? So that's why we don't know. The company don't know. Sometimes it's industry external forced onto the company as well. But normally we will start with a manual process first. But if this is a system allow people, capability import export, then it just helps a lot, to be honest.
Yeah, and for us, the export's pretty easy to do, so that may be the way to start, is to do the export and then maybe provide a template for the spreadsheet or something that people can use to calculate risk and cost. I don't know. It's hard to tell whether we want to have all that functionality in our UI or offload it.
Sure. But I like the idea. Yeah, definitely. I think it's useful in my previous banking environment. So yeah, because we've got loads of risk coming up, all the time.
Yeah. Any other comments, questions?
This is very encouraging.
Yeah, right?
I'm glad Tracy found this one. Because like the other ones I was looking at was like Artifact Hub, and these I struggled with just because of the layout wasn't quite. So if we look at Ortelius here, um, it doesn't quite have it kind of has this some of the charting stuff, but I feel that this one here, um, with the different bars and the overall score, is easier to understand than this. I think this over here is just too detailed, in
Yeah,
other words.
I
Yeah, I
agree.
guess it's targeting audience though.
Yeah. What were you gonna say, Kate?
Oh, I agree with what you're saying. I really, that's a good one. That Tracy found, yeah. And you've really put it in nicely. Not this one, the other one.
Yeah,
Clomine. Yeah.
yeah, this one. So, I'll give you some homework and see if you can find any other sites that you like. And there's like I've looked at one that's actually pretty good as well. Is I think it's called Monday.com. It's a CRM project management solution. They have some interesting layouts and stuff.
Is
So
that for project planning though, as a like a team collaboration?
yeah, exactly. But just their layout is what we're looking for. So I'm going to give you folks some homework to go out and find a website that you like, and it could be for this high level, summary with drill down, then in the weeds details supporting that, or like Ukarsh is going to take on the trends type of website.
Is
And
that
yeah,
Monday.com? I'm sorry, that Monday.com is not free, right?
uh,
It's only give you a week, I think. Yeah, I tried the
yeah,
previous day trying to SPM, but it's only a week, and then they ask you to pay.
yeah. And even if you go to like it doesn't have to be the whole site, so we can go to just Google Images here and go, oh yeah, I like that
I see
that
what you're saying.
layout there.
Yeah, and then you make it.
And then we are like this one here. We had the whoops, a little slow here. So like they had that one with the budget and
Yeah, there's some nice ones. Yeah, nice
like
images. What you're saying, yeah.
like this one here with the budget and the projects, that type of thing. Um, those type of or this is kind of like the Gantt chart. Any ways we can kind of visualize our data. The other ones that used to be called, I think it was called version one. There's some of the project management software. No, that wasn't it.
How about Jira?
Even Jira, yeah. If Jira has the high level or Confluence,
Yeah, people create a lot of plugins for Jira in terms of reporting though. So that's why you can do quite a lot of things on top of Jira.
yeah. So if we decide like when we go into like a drill down that we want to have this type of chart, maybe a table, and then the details. It's trying to get a feel for um, how we're going to navigate and get the information so people can understand it because we have a lot of data.
Hey, Steve,
Yeah,
have you ever tried Grafana? GRA?
I have not. Uh, Ar-
GRA.
Arvin, have you played with Grafana?
A little bit.
Yeah, I have
It's
used.
light up. Yeah, its UI is cool.
Yeah,
Grafana dashboard.
yeah,
It is, I don't remember if it's free or not. I feel like it used to be free and
It's open source.
is it?
yeah.
Okay, cool.
I think it has two version, enterprise version and the open source.
But yeah, I did like them when I played with them.
Yeah, and some of this is, I think some of it just is there just to be there and doesn't actually give you any help.
I understand,
That's
yeah.
that's kind of my feel for some of these.
Mhm.
And if we need to, like instead of like on this one, maybe this instead of us having a table or something like that, we do these uh, gauges and stuff. It's one of these things we just gotta think about what is going to be the best way to represent the data. Um, I
Is it just me, or I love those little gauges, the analog gauges,
you
and what
like the
we're looking
gauges?
for. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I'm not telling you it's good. I'm just saying. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I would be voted down. In fact, in the past, I have been voted down on that. It must be my age.
So, for example, if we hang on, here is Grafana. So if we take this gauge one and we kind of have a gauge here, but if we get into this, instead of doing the bar chart here, we could do a gauge for each one of these. Does that make more sense than the lines? Those are going to be some of the details that we're going to have to start getting into uh, down the road here pretty soon.
Yeah.
Raj, I just saw that you raised your hand. You got anything going on?
Oh yeah, I had like a website that uses these drill down charts, but for SEO, like search engine optimization. If you want, I can share how it
Yeah,
looks.
yeah. Just if you're in the doc, just add it here,
Got it.
and then next week we'll. So if everybody can add their links to their sites or images here, that would be great. If not, just email them to me or put them on Discord, and I will get them into the doc, and we'll just keep plugging away and kind of narrow down whether we're going to vote Kate down on gauges or not.
I think I've actually tested it with customers, and it got shot down with the customers as well. So
All right.
yeah, I don't think I don't have good design taste at all. So
Yeah, and some of the stuff I know it like this page. I mean, there's just so much going on that you can't really understand what's happening.
and see, that really speaks to me, and it must just be my, uh, the working in the nuclear plants, and I think that's, but honestly, I've put this in front of customers, not like that, but some other things, and it was totally shot down. So I don't think it's a good idea at all.
Yeah. And then I think I've told most of you folks this story where um, I think it was either Uber or
Yeah, I'm searching for the representation
Airbnb.
and I'm just using the average for a score.
What was that?
Oh, sorry, my bad.
No problem. So one of the things that I think it was Airbnb, they put a network graph of all the traffic between all their microservices. And they had monitors in the hallways, so it actually ended up looking like an animated piece of artwork with all the endpoints and little dots moving around. And it was so much detail and it was so complicated that you really couldn't do anything with it. But every day that you'd walk by, or every time you walk by, and you notice the human mind could pick out that something was changed, and maybe it used to be round and now it's oval. And why did it go from a round picture to an oval? Because something in the data changed it, and that caused people to go, "Oh, I think I gotta go dig in and figure out why it changed." So that's one of those weird human psychology where we can recognize patterns even amongst millions of pieces of data.
We actually worked when doing our dashboard with an industrial artist. And that was really helpful, actually. And like I said, my ideas were horrible. So don't go with me.
Well, I'm gonna hunt down the stuff that you sent me, and I'm gonna put it into the meeting minutes.
That actually came with work with an industrial artist and everything else. So, yeah, and from a very simplified view, you should see. Yeah, what I had was awful, but it's hey, we all have our things. So,
Yeah, and this is creating a UI UX experience can be very challenging, and it really gets down to the lack of a better word, customer experience. Even to the point what we can be so picky. Like we go to a different coffee shop and they use a different lid than we're used to, then we're never going to go back there again because we don't like the lid that they put on the coffee cup. Things like that can have so much influence of how we make decisions of using stuff.
Yeah, it's real.
Unfortunately, it is real. We have some weird quirks with us in the human race. All right. Anything else? Well, thank you, everybody. Like I said, keep adding to the doc. Or if you want, just email me or put them on Discord, your links, and I'll get them in there. Kate, like I said, I'll pull from your email and add it to that so you don't have to worry about it.
Okay. Thanks a bunch, Steve.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.